Shooter. Shooter. Okay. January 31st, 2025 of the year of our Lord. Thank you. Okay. Mission today is back to the CA compliant AR grip. I just got done eating a big cup of ice cream, caramel, with milk. Turned it into a shake. Love it. Highly recommend it. This is long form content, so I do sit on the couch and I get relaxed. So I recommend that you do the same. I'm not trying to do any sort of 60-second TikTok, catch your attention with something smart. Not what we're doing here. This is more like a just hang out, man. Just come on, hang out. I'm just going to tip you up for a second because the first thing I do when I get to work is take a break. And I make a plan for the day. So, the plan for the day is Shapr3D. We're going to open up an STL file. I already have it opened up in there. Shapr3D is a 3D editing software. It's free. You can get it online. Really easy to download. Again, the most intuitive software that I've come across. On day one, you're out there making shapes. You're not frustrated. You're not overwhelmed by all the options, all the drop-down menus. It's very clear. And very easy to work with. Especially for beginner users. And it's a lot of fun. And there are ways to make the free version work as well as the professional version. And I think maybe we'll go over some of those tips today. But before we do that, let's light this candle. All right. Time to share the old screen. We're going to jump to Shapr first. I want to be in the screen, but I don't want to be like right there. Okay. Welcome to Shapr3D. So I've got a lot of things loaded up in here right now. I apologize. It's a mess. One of the first things I'm going to teach you then is right select and left select. Okay, so right select is to select walls and pieces. Left select will completely grab the whole object, or completely. I don't know. There's some things about it, right? Like it left that face off. So there's a slight difference between dragging to the left and dragging to the right, and that's represented in the coloration of the box and the dashed versus solid lines. Okay, so it doesn't really matter because I'm highlighting all of it, so I could use either right or left, and I'm going to get the same result. So I'm going to highlight these, and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to isolate them. Okay, that's going to make it easier for us to work on what we're working on here today. Let's just cover this right away. If you have Shapr3D and you have the base model, when you export your STL file that you've made, it will reduce the quality and increase the pixelation. So this circle will no longer be a circle. It's an object that I've created because I haven't unioned it with this imported STL. It will reduce the quality automatically. You can buy the professional version for $200 a year, $300. I forget how much it is. Around $200 to $400 a year, which is honestly, it's pretty cheap compared to some of these other software programs. Granted, they are much more powerful. How to get around the free version exporting high quality objects that you've created in Shapr3D? And the answer is as simple as unioning these two bodies together. Or let me draw this out here. This is our items menu in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to bring this out. And it's going to list all the bodies, all items, planes and axes, images that we've uploaded, or just the sketches alone. It's a good way to break things down for you. I'm in the bodies, so that way I can select and move my bodies around quickly. So let's say that this was a more complex object, or let's say I needed this particular shape, and I was going to export this on the free version of Shapr. It would, again, reduce this quality into, again, just far, I mean, it already is pixelated to a degree, but that would get much worse. This thing would essentially be an octagon. It gives it maybe like 10 to 15 sides instead of like, 100, which is unusable in a lot of cases. So, because you never know how it's going to unpixelate, so that makes lining up pegs into holes impossible. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to import to current project. So we're going up to File, Import to current project, and I'm just going to what do I got here? I could go into I don't have any STLs. Do I have any STL files? Give me a moment. I'm going to go into augers and threads. Okay, so I'll have something around. It's been a while since I've done it on the free versions. On the professional version, you can just export at the high quality. Is you'll take something, an STL that you got online that is an imported file that is already of the highest quality. Okay, and you're going to bring it in, and you're going to go down here to scale, and we're going to scale it way down. And depending on, if this object is solid, but let's say it wasn't, let's say there was a hole in it. And I wanted to, again, increase this to the highest level quality export that I can, so it will be usable for me, because I don't want to pay the $200. I'm just starting out, and this piece is important to me. So what we are going to do is we're going to take this file that we imported, and I'm just going to tuck it in the wall. We can shrink it way down. And sometimes you have to have it poking out. So on a lot of my early designs, I would always choose, some edge or some corner or some place to have it exposed. So let me see if I can bury this inside of here. Completely buried. Union with our body. So I'm unioning this mesh body with our step or Shapr file. Pretty sure it's a step file in this format, but there's a number of export anyway. So it's inside of there. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into a mesh body. Okay, bodies cannot be united because they do not connect. So what's happening is inside of here is hollow. And these two and none of the surfaces touch. So it has to be touching one of the surfaces. So here we're on the outside of the object. Now we're on the inside of our primary body. We're going to select our nut again, and we're going to get out of union, grab our body. Again, see how intuitive this is? As soon as you click on it, it automatically is like, you want to move this? Which is, you don't get that in any of the other 3D editing programs. Then I expose it just a little bit, just somewhere it has to be connecting. Okay. Let's try it again. Union operation failed. Sometimes it will have trouble unioning if the walls are flat and they are parallel to each other. And they somewhat intersect, kind of like your fingers are like in a weaving pattern. If that happens, it has trouble. Cannot intersect again. So it might be my particular file, this nut. It's not one that I've tried before. But you get the idea. You're going to have to import something. It could be the shape of Abraham, the face of Abraham Lincoln. It could be any STL file that you got. So one of the things that I thought of in the beginning when I was messing around, just for the sake of science, all right? I know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't. Work with me here. Work with me. Oh. I think it's so small I can't see it. Control Z. There you are. I must have deleted it. I'm going to make it so just an edge. Here's all of our options. In the move is rotation. Okay, so we have not only move left and right, but we have all the axes of rotation. And just for whatever sake, I'm just going to leave them like that. Come on, baby. Huh. Okay, so find an object and an STL or a mesh file that will union with your object, union it together and get it to work. Then you can export that as it becomes whatever it is that you union it with, it will become that file format. Okay, so what we have here today is this grip. The hole is off center. It's oversized. It's not deep enough. Just all kinds of issues. So we're here to fix that by doing what we can. First thing I did was I just filled the void. Okay. Then I built a secondary face over here by hitting spacebar on. You bring your mouse over the face that you want to build off from. So if I want to build up here, I'll hold my mouse here. If I want to build here on this angle, square to this face, I'll put my mouse here and I'll click space. Okay, you'll see that on the right hand side of my screen. And then from there, I will select any one of. I mean, you can draw a line, arcs. The shapes are somewhat limited, but there are options. And of course, you can edit them there. This is so much different than Blender. and lacks a lot of the complex capabilities of some of these more advanced CAD programs. I cannot say enough. I've been able to do so much with this program. It's absolutely unreal. I've designed all of my mechanical machines on this program. You absolutely can do mechanical design on this. So from there, I just selected rectangle. There's a couple different ways to build a rectangle: out of center or off 3 points, or diagonal. Diagonal is the most natural. So again, I went in and I selected rectangle off the 3 dots here. And if you want to change what you're doing, there's a small little arrow down here, which does not do it. Can name. All right, so you click on the name. The arrow simply indicates that there's additional options. Sometimes you got to click on the logo. I don't know. It's a mess. Whatever. So for me, I clicked rectangle, set up my shape, and I extruded it backwards. That gave me my fresh face here. That is absolutely perfectly flat and flush with this face. What that allowed me to do was to select this body. So when I click it, I just selected the face, so I had to click it twice over here to select the whole body. Came down to more, and I split the body. Boom. Off from that face. Okay. That sent a laser beam right through it, splitting it right down that face. However long or wide the body would be, that would be where it would split. Now, I've had trouble unioning these two together. So I'm just going to leave them. What I'll do eventually is I'll wrap them up in a folder together and export them together. And when it opens, it'll open them together as a solid file. It's a way to get around unioning stuff together. If you are unable to get your files unioned together, don't panic. Just get them shaped together, and we will be able to export them as a solid file, solid STL file. So let's go ahead and do that now. I have my imported body here, and I want to take this 199 and put it inside. I could do that 2 ways. I could click and then click select and or control. That's a control click. So I have one body and I control click. Okay, now I have the 2 bodies highlighted in dark blue. I can then come down here to the folder menu and create a new folder, and boom, they've both been thrown inside. Okay, now when we export, this folder will be exported as one file. Okay, it's kind of a way of unioning on the way out by default. Now, what the problem with this is you'll have like 2 of these bodies in the folder, so it will union them even though they're not touching. So when you open them up, you'll open it up on your print bed or wherever it may be, and you've got 2 of them there when you only wanted 1. So just be careful that result might happen. Always be cautious of what's or mindful of what's in your folder. And it's not a big deal. You just come back. You drag your unwanted item back out of the folder, re-export the file, and you're off to the races. All right, give me one moment. Just had to jump back in. Turns out there's not. Okay. Oh, it's doing that funny roll thing. I must be selecting a face. Okay, if it starts to like turn and yaw your camera around sometimes, you might be selected on a single face. It also might be glitched sometimes. It doesn't glitch often. When it first came out, when I was on beta, I lost some really large files. A lot of hours were lost on some projects through file. They've since got that straightened out, and it's been great. So we've come this far. My measurements were 9.4 from the front face. I tried selecting from the top, but found this face was not actually square. 2. Is it? No, it's not. Oh, I selected too close to the front edge. What the what? All right, so what I just set up there was center. That should be center of hole. 9.4 back from front face. Center on a 10 millimeter inner plate and a 23 millimeter outer face, I do believe. That is laying on our caliper and our grip. And I use this to measure our depth here at a depth of 18 millimeters. Okay. Yes, indeed. 23 to the outside to outside. 23.2. It does thin out towards the back. 22.6 just behind the hole. Okay. 23 flat at the top. Consistent. No, just at the front. Most are at 22.5, I bet. It could be done at 22.5, that's for sure. The hole favors the left for sure. Let me measure in from the outside. The measurement is 1.2 millimeters in. So I'm going to come down here. I want to make sure that my 3.1 millimeter hole comes to a minimum right there. My cat is after he loves to lick my plate because I have a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, and he likes to lick the bacon juices. He found it. Okay. So that's 3.4. I'm not opposed to that. I will say that. I'm not opposed to that. Does that cut out? No, that's pretty much where they were. That would give us a 0.2 leeway in case anything were to happen, anything were to cave in, we would have that 0.2 millimeter. It looks like you're like, oh, 0.2, 0.4. We're talking about millimeters here, people. But no, it does matter. So the actual number is 3.36. And I think we're going to go with that. I was going to go 3.2, 3.1. I think 3.3 is acceptable. That's no fun. Ah, jeepers. What did I hit? X, Z? What even does that do? Z? Shift Z? Control Z? Is undo. Let's redo that. I don't know, but that zoom out thing, that was pretty weird. I gotta go back and see what I did there. Okay, so we are gonna need to do a so far off. It's fucking ridiculous. There's no way that's accurate. I measured in off the wrong face. And this is measured off the wrong face. How can we amend this? Because it's tough to see clearly where our face begins and ends, right? This is a clear defined line. Does a great job with the shading. But the depth perception is not great here. So So what I would like to do is we're just going to be quick about it. Be quick about it. Square up. Sometimes you'll get this. Sometimes you'll get the lines running parallel to your object, even though your object is laid out clearly on the XY axis. And you're like, what the heck? How, when I click on this to edit this, does it throw me to a 45 or roughly there? Anyway, come up here to the top right corner. Click this. It's at least going to straighten you out. Square you up. Not much I can do about the grid pattern. What was I going to do? I was going to come down here and I was going to build a box. Just going to throw a box down. I built it flat off from that face. And I'm just going to drag that down. Block it in. Okay, now I've got something at least I can measure over. All right. Below. Sometimes clicking doesn't work and you have to hit enter to get lines started. I don't know why that is. I wanted 1.2 from end. And enter again. Okay, that's pretty large. 4.1, a little bit too large. I do like that it's towards the center. But that's how big it should be. All right, you guys want to try to run some math quick? 4.1. So I need to move it by half of what our distance is that we want to move it down by. Oh, we were at 4.1. We want to be to 3.4. Go by 0.4. All right, we'll try. Turns out it's just right. Now what we can do to make this easy is I'm going to go to trim, and I'm going to trim my interior lines at least to open up each room. Okay, so now when I select I don't have any rooms that are cut off. So now it will select the whole shape. We're going down 18 millimeters. I'm immediately going to reselect that face. I'm going to go make it solid because right now it's hollow. Okay, and a lot of times this will disappear on this sketch, and you'll have to come up to bodies. You'll switch back to sketch. You'll go up to the top, and you'll bring that sketch back. Then you'll extrude it again. So here I need to go minus 18. That made a new body. I'm going to take that new body. I'm going to subtract, went to our 3 dots, highlighted the whole body. Subtract, right, an addition state, or this is what would be subtracted from. We're going to make this the subtraction from this primary body. And now we have a preview of our result on the interior. We could take a closer look, but that looks fine to me. That's what was wrong right there. If you're looking like, hey, how accurate was it? Not really that close, not gonna lie. I don't know what that was working with or who that was working for, but not okay. Excellent. Okay. Half design cleaned up. Let's get these bodies out of here now. Well, not necessarily. I think what I would like to do is do it to our base model and try to remake these in a short period of time. Re-upload them. I have this all set and ready to go, where I have shrunken the indentations. They were previously 0.6 millimeters in depth, and I've reduced that to 0.3. This is because our grips, our new standard grips, won't have any color being added to them, so the extra depth is not needed. Okay. And you can thank the world for that. Thank me for that. I'm still going to offer customization options. Of course, if you reach out, whatever you'd like, just hit me up. I'm happy to make you a custom design. The sun is setting. We are at the end of golden hour. So, what I want to do is unisolate. How do I get two of these? So I grabbed this from the center and I moved it up here because moving in closer, and it's going to make it easier for me to make precise movements by selecting this. Sometimes it'll stick to faces because this is a mesh body. It has nothing to stick to at the moment. Yeah, I'd say that's close enough. I like it. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to switch bodies. But look at how much material I added in on the back. And at the same time, you can see how much I removed off the bottom. That's a cool shot, actually. I like that. Because this one is glass and the other one is through visualization modeling. Go to visualization and you'll see that you can change the material and then you can actually see through it. I actually find light glass to be easy to model with, and in some ways effective, because I can see through it and I can see what's going on in the interior of the model, where other times when I'm working with a solid color, I'm just wondering where where I'm going to poke through the wall. When I have it set to glass, I can see what's coming, basically. And if I, just get a little bit of reference on the shadows for the inside. Oh, I found out some stuff in Blender. Spent about an hour and a half in there afterwards last night. All right, move that over a flat 200 back to the original. Now this, we're going to make a copy of it. We're going to send it down the way 200 to meet up with its partner. We're going to take this body. I just want to drag it out of there for now. Suppose I didn't have to when I'm thinking about it, but So I was able to highlight this mesh body into a that might not always work for you. Throw it in a folder down here. It brought it way down to the bottom, so all right. And it will rotate when you get on a vertical surface. But when you are this way, it should just rotate on this axis, okay? If you are getting weird rotation, sometimes I was accidentally building on this plane. And it made it really hard to build on. I thought I was horizontal, but really I was building vertical. Or when I thought I was building vertical, I was actually building horizontal. I was flip-flopped. And it was causing major problems with how I was trying to orient myself. Oops, it's supposed to be 18. We're doing it again. We're going to subtract. I don't necessarily have to hit the plus button. You can just click anywhere on that particular. You do, I guess. Maybe that, I think there was something in the way. I don't know. Anyway. I do declare, Mr. Jameson. Very good, very good. Now, I believe these guys are ready for export and a secondary editing. And then I'm going to bring it back in here. I'm going to throw those walls on. And send it to print. Okay, here we go. Going to isolate it. Then I'm going to file export to. I could select files here, but then it's going to go with whatever my last settings for file export are. So I would just want to go with. Allow me. It's kind of like going Control P instead of just print right off the top. It allows you to check your export settings. So, and then I want to turn this off. This is why I needed to get it in here. Save each first level item separately. That means every folder saves all of its files as one item. Okay? That's where we get that union by default during export. Where that comes into a problem is if you have a folder and a subfolder, all with items that you intended to have separate, what you'll find is you're going to be disappointed because when you open it up, it's going to be one file containing it's just a solid mesh of objects, and it's useless. So then you have to come in and just reorganize those folders and re-export. So that's important right there. So turning this off is going to export this as a solid STL file without zipping it in a folder. This is going to save me one unzipping step. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring you back. Can we go to Blender? Oh, I don't have Blender open yet. Let me go ahead and open up Blender. Blender 4.3. See if I can share that. All right, we're going entire screen. Here we go. Jump up here, Pooh Bear. I need a snuggle buddy. Get your butt up here. Oh, you're a princess. You're a princess. She helped me eat my ice cream. So we just opened up Blender 4.3. I'm not sure if we have to open up that way. Just going to jump into object mode right away and delete that. So we've got a blank canvas. Excuse me. File. Import STL. We are going to, over here under volumes, you'll find all of your available storage drives. I am going to go into, you could go in through C, but just up here at the top right away, this is your local system. Okay. So for me, I think it's stored in my 3D. Okay, it has imported, but is lost somewhere. So I'm going to hit N. And it's all the way over there. We're just going to hit 0 across the board. Did that bring it home? It did not. All right, so I'm just going to grab it, place it shit out here. Oh, I see it way off in the distance. What is it? Getting tiny? Oh, it's made of glass. Wait, what? No way. Where is it? I'm lost. I'm so lost. It should drop the item there. Where are they? I don't understand. I'm going to try. That doesn't make sense at all. We're going to jump back into 3D. One of the things I'm going to do is, again, it doesn't make any sense at all, but I'm going to change the color of it, and we'll see what that does. Change the material to something like a matte ABS. Whoa, whoa. Now I can just go to STL right away because I know my file, last thing I exported. All right. I can't believe it, but perhaps it imports color and material. And thin clear glass was not acceptable. All right, there we go. It was there. We just couldn't see it, or we were looking through it the whole time. All right, so here's what I learned yesterday. And here's what we're going to do from the beginning. We're going to select our object. We are going to go to, first off, edit mode. This is going to show us our STL body in a mesh mode. Now, we could edit it here, but the first thing that we're going to do before we go and start to push and pull on all these data points is we're going to make more data points. We are going to double it and probably double it again. What I did last time, see, you only get that face. I think what we want to do is select all. Can I do Control A? A? Yes, just by hitting just A, not Control A, just A. Okay, so just the letter A on the keyboard, and we are going to right mouse click, and then we are going to select at the very top. It's not, I know, I was down here thinking it was alphabetical order or something. It's pretty upset. But very at the top, you will find this, subdivide. This is going to double our data points, okay? And I would like to do that one more time. Oh, I'm not sure I wanted to do that. Here's why you don't want to do that. Undo that, undo that. Why don't we try just one for now? Here's why I don't recommend, or the issues that I found in the one day of messing with it. When you put too many mesh points out there, it stops you from making, I need to make some pretty heavy changes here fairly early on, and the more mesh points you have, it holds your mistakes inside. It's tough to buff them out when you got a lot of data points there. So in the beginning, I think less is more, and as we get further on, more is more. So just for the sake of science, we've doubled the mesh just to start. There were cases yesterday where I had to double and triple it. So used to when you switch between programs and how you move is not the same. So here I have to select with the center of the mouse, and in Shapr I was able to move with the click. So very frustrating. Let's go to sculpt. Let's start carving on this bad boy. I want to import a reference. Ooh, I deleted that one. I overwrote it. This is why we don't overwrite things. That's okay. We can make a new one right now. Okay. How long have we been live? That's the real question. One hour. This is Pooh Bear. She is a hit. She is a purebred ragdoll. She is 11 years old now, 12. She's an outdoor savant. She is a trail guide. She is the leader of the Squirrel Nation. Any of you Rick and Morty fans know what that means? She is one not to be messed with. And that is that. Okay. 1 hour in. I think that means got to take a little break. Oh, and I need a new cup of water. Smoke break. You're so sweet. Oh, she's just a little bird. Oh, what a day. It was 40 degrees today. Pooh Bear got outside for a couple hours. Not as nice as yesterday, which I've seen some nice spring weather, but I don't think I've seen 50 in January in Wisconsin, central Wisconsin. I don't know if I've ever seen it. They said we were going to have a lot of snow this year. Central Wisconsin, I've seen maybe 10 inches of snow all year, and it did not stay. The only place the sleds have a chance is on the rivers, on the ice. All right. 3, 2, 1, cheers to you. Pooh Bear. Mm-hmm. 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 Just going to mute this chat for a minute. Mouse. What a peach, huh? Oh, she's just the sweetest. Oh, she's just the mopiest. Oh. That stuff is called grape sucker, and it is amazing. Okay. He's a king, he's a champion. Who's watching the Super Bowl this weekend? Next weekend? Next weekend. Yes, indeed. 2025 Kansas City Chiefs, as it has been every year for the last 8 years. And Philadelphia Eagles. Gosh, I would have loved to have seen the Bills in there. That's all right. Okay, let's jump back into Blender. Let's start pushing and pulling. Oh, I was supposed to get the grip. That's originally why I got up. Where did I? All right, so I have the gray in hand tonight. I don't know if you can see it. But once again, we are after the third nub here as it puts pressure on the pinky as it naturally wants to come down closer to this ring finger. That is generally uncomfortable for me. So what I would like to see, I'm not saying we entirely remove it, but we at least need to remove this part of this front left side. It needs to be removed by 70%, 65, 60%. 60%. Here we go. Because I've already split it, I'm thinking that the push-pull is going to work better. Starting with the left-hand side front corner. Just going to make you just push it back. Push it back. All right, why don't we try the trim? It's too bad we can't play music. I'd definitely be jamming out right now. So, lessons from yesterday. Probably number one. Was what is it called? Well, the doubling of the mesh points. That bothers me now. subdivide. It's not a word I often use. Subdivide. Is that a brain teaser? Is that an oxymoron? Subdivide. Sound like a double negative. Bothers me. Why wouldn't it just be divide? Whatever. Subdivide. It is. Subdivide. Very good. Why? Huh. Sometimes you'll get excessive results. Sometimes it's tough to get any. Okay, so my fingers are naturally coming up here. Okay, so I just want to pull everything kind of up and down in this direction. Now, I know this looks super ugly right now. It does. I know. I see it too. Trust me. That's so... It's quite an overhang you got there, pal. Buddy. Ugh, all right. This is where you get less dramatic movements out of the smoothing. Before, when I had more poly points or less poly points, the smoothing aspect was pretty fucking dramatic. But I think a single subdivision is still manageable. I don't recommend 2 or 3. All right, what kind of time did that take? Not very long. We're starting to shape up pretty well. And really using the shadows here to line up our edges. We're going to clean up that corner a little bit. We're going to soften that. But I don't want to lose it. So I have to be focused on it. So shift, pull, roll in, shift, pull. We're just going to hit it with a few clicks. Just see what that does. Okay, I don't think I messed it up too much, which is good. I would like to keep that shape that I took out of it last time. I would like to leave that in there, that divot on the inside. It's a good look. Ugh, how did I slow that down? Whoa, whoa, oh. I'm all the way in on my point. Strange. All right. So as I'm just feeling out the movement here, I'm close to something, right? So my zoom in point, as I zoom in, right, I can't zoom in anymore. It starts to slow way down. So that's my focus point right there that I'm zoomed in on. That's too bad. I don't necessarily like that. Without it being marked in some way, some tiny little dot or I don't care, something. It just needs to be marked to know that I'm closing in on my focus point. I mean, you see how complex this layout is compared to Shapr3D. It's just insane. All right, continuing to soften up where the finger rolls in over here. It naturally wants to close in right here. I think we should do more pulling, maybe. I'm going to switch to a pull, and I'm just going to push in on this side now, just to aid this. Let's try this clay push here. I'm going to Control Z that. Go with a clay push. Now, the thing about clay push is it doesn't subtract any product. It just kind of smears that shit around. I really don't like clay push. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's go back to trim. Really don't have a good visual angle on that. It's going to take forever. So once again, the old push-pull is here to get us out of another bind. All right, so that's kind of where I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it going there. What do we say? 70% of the mass? 65, 70. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's go with that. I'm going to smooth that out. That's kind of tough. Corners are a tough deal here. Um, kind of in the zone. um, the problem with clicking is that the memory on which I'm blown away. The memory is only 30 clicks long. So you can only control Z back 30 of your previous edits before what you've done is permanent. Yeah, which is a whole thing I cannot believe, but it is it's a fact at the current moment that I'm in. There might be another way around, but I haven't found it. So here we are. So it's easier to click and drag. Problem with click and drag, a little bit less touchy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select specific. What I'm going to do is go into edit and see what the heck I'm looking at here and what my problem is, because I'm sure it's exactly what I just saw there. This tells the whole story. Subdivide. To the sculpt mode. To the smooth brush. To the better shading angle. Wait, it really doesn't buff out quite as nice as I thought it was going to. Are we okay with moving on with that? I see worse points than wherever it was that we just were. So in fact, I can't even really tell where we were. So that's good. Let's move on to points that we see that are just a little bit could be touched up. I'm sure they're all fine, but I see one point like right here. This guy. I think these are all really good, actually. Okay. It's okay. We'll fix it back at home base. This freaking hole. I had it fixed yesterday. I know how to fix it. We'll fix it later because when at one point this was a step file. Now it's become an STL. It's come into my hands and we are trying to edit it in its STL format. I cannot get it back to a step file. So this was rolled back on a chamfer. And we can make that happen once again. But not in this particular program. We will have to go back into Shapr to make that happen. Where's the inner tube? Um, let me just double check. We're going to jump back in here. Oh, I isolated it without the, I should have clicked this isolate, would have kept the tube inside. So I just clicked on the device itself, which, as you can see, that tube did the journey. Along with the many other things, we will ensure that that gets slid in. It is functional now, but we will make sure that gets slid back in there. Okay. Now, we are just going to go into grabbing this right away. Oh, we got to be in object mode. Okay, I like it. I like where our head's at. Headed in the right direction. Take our second variation. And we are going to try this. I'm going to try not to mess it up. Last night I messed it up a little bit. We're going to do. Do you know what the rules are for California compliant AR accessory or AR grip? Really? Both. Well, just grip in general. Either a pistol grip or foregrip. You'd call it a rifle grip or foregrip. They cannot be vertical, okay, or near vertical. They have to be angled. I looked into what the exactly what the amount of angle has to be, but here's what it comes down to: your hands cannot be in this orientation. Okay, they need to be in this orientation to hold it, and they need to be in this orientation to hold it. This grip cannot extend below the receiver. Okay. I can't see. I probably have egg in my mustache. All right, the plan is to make a thumb pedal on the left-hand side for additional control. It's going to be relatively low and flat. It's not going to be up. I think that's going to be the best addition. That thumb knob, I think that's going to be huge right there. Flat little pedal. I mean, it's close. It's so close. We're going to jump out of object mode into sculpt. I'm going to take a look at edit quick so we can see all of our poly points. We've added a few in the beginning of the session. I see we might need to add a few up here, and depending on how we have to blend in, we might need to add more up in this section as well. So why don't we just subdivide this right here, right now. Let's just wait until we have to. Fair enough. Okay. Jumping into sculpt, we're going to start pulling and drawing our material out. At the end of yesterday's session, I was talking about how my one issue was I didn't have enough poly points. But now with the addition of subdivision, okay, so I think that's okay. Just kind of imagine our thumb in there. Yesterday I had it coming up more vertical. This is a bit excessive right now. But I really want to be able to provide the ability for the consumer to maneuver. Now this is just pretty, it's pretty rough, as was the bottom. I don't dislike it. Let me put it in my hand again. Now, the issue with this is, again, switching, right? Anything, heaven forbid, happens. You got to use your left. This will certainly, again, dig into the meat of the left, which is an issue. However, I kind of want it. Let's go ahead and let's pull this. I kind of like it down there. So now remember, it's not making more poly points. It's only stretching out the poly points that were previously there. And in certain cases, we might need to subdivide again. Now there I'm just kind of cleaning up without even really smoothing without hitting the smooth brush here. Why don't we... Oh, let's be careful. Okay. Is that acceptable? Yes, I would like more depth in there, but we can add that back in a second. Let's get the rest of this kind of shaped up and roughed in for the most part. God. Oh yeah, that needs to be handled. Okay, so subdivide takes the larger portion and will break it up into more than just one half. It will break it up into many portions based on its size and some sort of standard poly size set, I'm sure. There's subdivision settings somewhere. You can subset to a standard. No, I think it breaks it down by a percentage, it looks to be. Okay, I feel like that's good enough for now. Let's go back into sculpt. And here we can, we're just going to wash these poly shapes, just wash away here. I won't deny you the visual. Just watch them kind of pop out. Okay. Oh, what do we got going on up at the front? Okay. That was a little bit extra. I'm guessing that needs to be touched up. Soften it up. I didn't make it all the way through the 3rd grade for nothing. Something's going on here. I'm not going to mess with these down here. I kind of want to pull what I have away from that. And we'll work on straightening that out. All right. Is that excessive? That's way more than it was yesterday. Now, just a touch of forward lip is necessary. It really needs to be an extension up this front side here. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. Because now as I affect this, these crinkles will just start to roll back. I think it's got to be done. I'm so afraid to stretch those because they do. They grab and they pull on the ones that are next to them. I don't think that's going to work like that. I don't think I can fold it back on itself and have it accept itself back into itself. I think what I'm doing there is not the right direction. So what I want to do is I want to add more poly points in here to put more poly points between me and what the heck I'm doing. Okay. It pulls, but I don't know what the algorithm is, if it pulls on a set number of poly or if it's set distance. But either way, we're going to hope that it is a set number of poly points. So how we're going to defeat that is by adding more of them. We're going to take something like an angle like this. It's just one area. It's just what is that? Just right here. Okay. There we go. I had to undo because I had dropped that shape down there and I had to get that sucker out of there. All right, let's hope that when I pull on it, it doesn't move. You know, you might hope for something that would work. You know, I don't know. I don't know what you'd hope for, but whatever we got here, this is not quite exactly everything you'd hope for. All right, here. All right, here. These areas are pretty well blacked out. So leveling them is going to be pretty hard. Now let's see the ultimate test. Yes, we got away with it. So we're actually going to take this and pull this out now. All right. What are we even doing here? What are you even doing here, man? The heck are you doing? Get it together. Get it together. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look great. Does functional? Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Look good? No. Whoa. I bet I selected a point and drug it down before I did all this, and it's gonna be over 30 ago. It is. It's this fucker right here. Oh, when did that happen? Come on. When did that happen? Oh, goodness me. You son of a gun. Get back up there. All right, so it was about there. Now we're just going to redo everything that we just did. I suppose I could have fixed it that way before, but I never done that until just now. At what point was that? You son of a bitch. How does that happen? I just want to select and drag. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Why not the big guy? It's the only one that I fucking wanted. Really? You gonna do me like that, Charlie? Fucking thing. All right, let's undo the last two. How is that not? It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Let it go. Still, it won't. What? What? It's all right. Move past it. Moving past it. There's weird spaces like this square doesn't have any. What's going on there? Tough for me to tell. Okay. Now let's do this with item in hand. I want to feel it below my thumb and just ever so slightly in front of it, so I can use it as that somewhat as a brake pedal. But I really don't want to have it feel like it's a hindrance of additional safety maneuvers, right? Maneuver of the safety mechanism. So it's definitely a resting place for a thumb. There won't be any other place for the thumb to go when it's there. You know, the thumb will have to be there. There's no wrapping your thumb down here anymore. That'll be. I mean, I could put it way out to the front, almost hanging off the front. I think I like it where it is. We're just going to ring it up just a little bit. I think we're going to want more down action than anything else. Just something to put pressure, additional pressure on this thing. How far up do you want to come? Say something like that. Really not too much. Just a little bit of a pedal. Kind of losing sight of the angle here. Okay, now this old moose horn is going to get sculpted down, but I think this is a bit excessive out here. I'm not going to lie about that. You'll probably get brought in at a pretty sharp angle. Yeah, I think that's still pretty manageable, honestly. It could get cut off pretty much here, and you could still run your thumb underneath it for the most part as an additional option. Why don't we try to make that more of a thing? We're just going to shorten this up and favor a thumb under possibility, or at least make it a potential. Might have to subdivide that area. It's looking pretty rough under there. Do a little bit better than that. Oofka. All right, well, we'll figure that out once we get there. In the meantime, back to doing what we do. Just pushing and pulling. Okay, thumb over, and I want to pull up just a little bit on this front side, just in case you were ever going 45, or you never know. Because with that wrist bent back like that, you can do kind of a tight flip with it. All right, I think that's kind of pushed in and out where I would like for it to be. It's kind of concaved in a little bit. But let's put the brush on it and see how she smooths out. Really, even the rough shape is not that bad. Oof, God, she fills in pretty quick in the middle. I have to break that down a little bit. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not what I want. Nope. Yes. Wowzers. Okay. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. There we go. Soften up a little bit. Yeah, might need to pull on that just a little bit more. Just because I've broken it down so many times, I'm not sure it's going to respond how we want. Plus, I've got these two big faces here. Like, what are these? And how come I cannot subdivide them? It just blows my mind. Like, there's no way. There's no way. All right. know much about selection. But I know this is not, I've never ran into this before. This doesn't make any sense, really. Confused. So let's just try. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know how effective that is, but regardless, let's see if we can subdivide that. No. Why? Hmm. Is it with you? That's a mystery I'm not sure I'm capable of solving in the amount of time that I've left. Doggone it, that's such a such a shame. Can I cut you? Cut you. I'm gonna trim you. Come here, you. No result. 0 result. Oh no, there's a result. But not on the desired body. It only rolls it back further, or it eats more objects, inevitably returning to the source like the Matrix. Oh, that bothers me. Ooh. What about it's unaffectable. Unaffectable. I am just shocked. I do see some bulging happening. No, I'm just a figment of my imagination. There's nothing happening. Can't even grab it. All right, we're gonna make it all funky. We're gonna jack it up somehow and see if we can't subdivide this dang thing. Because this is not okay. Whatever is happening right here is not okay. How can you present that to me as one shape? It takes multiple angles. Is that why you can't edit it? No response. No response. This is beyond my skills. This needs elvish medicine. That's an issue. Let's go back to as far as we can. So basically, when we first spotted them is as far back as we can go. So it's like a virus. Oh, that's awful. An uneditable face. You can't break it down. It can't be broken down because it already takes an angle. It already takes a shape. All of these other faces are poly, but these ones are trapped in a particular shape already. Well, let's try to work with it. See if we can't come up with something. Boy, that's just a bit of a heartbreak there. I wonder if it's been subdivided so many times that it appears as though it's not sub. No way. There's no way. I mean, you can smooth it. So problem solved there. I don't know. What do you say? It's tough because it doesn't read like a. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's not right. Not. What the heck? What's going on, Blender? I think I gotta zoom. Boy, that's disappointing. Especially for a rookie like me. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Solutions. Introduce an object. Stretch that object out over top of the face. Blend it together. Union them together. Definitely could do that. Will likely do that. In the time that is the mean, I think it would be best if we check on how much time we've spent on this. 2.5 hours. I think that's good enough for today. I'm going to print that grip here tonight. Probably take a look at a new angled foregrip design as well. See what we can come up with. Try to bust something out here in Shapr. But until I see you next, started at 4, went to 6:30. I think we'll try to hit that again here tomorrow on Saturday. 4 to 6 is a pretty good time. It's good enough for you guys, good enough for me. Thank you. Boom for sticking around. 0 people, 0 comments. Wait. Shooter. Very good. Just like that. Stream is over. Peace be with you.